Hello, part two. Um, Research and critically thinking, which is really important in this subject of why propaganda can be or is evil, with many avenues which can be terrible for society. First of all, I've gone through the manipulation of the truth. The truth, in many cases, people in Germany in World War II were given misinformation as stated by the Nazi Party, what was happening in Germany at the time, in Poland, and the countries, to Jewish people, to people of different colour, and because they wanted a one race nation of superiority, which happened, and which suppresses critical thinking, because the media and the press were all controlled to what information is out there. And that can happen today with the internet as a big factor, where people research information, where it is sometimes edited, manipulated and turned around in information like factors like for news articles on Facebook or social media, and it can be said written by a doctor, written by a professor, written by a academic, and there's no factual evidence behind it. It's an article why Chinese will be rulers of Australia in 10 years' time, or why our economy and everyone will be homeless, and why COVID injections are killing people. And they're written by a person with, there's no, people don't do any research from libraries or critical information, or ask other people with particular academic information, so they take first based evidence, which is manipulated, people manipulated in how they're thinking, to even today. And what happened in World War II, which is a really great aspect, because the internet wasn't around, but the media was controlled. What was out there, what people read, was completely two different countries, such as in Australia, what we were told. I mean, they say the people who win wars write the stories, so that can be true too. So you get particular avenues of what happened, but we know about how people were treated like subhumans, which I think Australian Army treated prisoners a lot better, in my information, which I've read up on different annuals of what happened in the war. Then it discourages questions from people. People don't question information, because it's something like fast food. They if they believe the information they are given, they will not query it. It is something which people might look up, as I said, why COVID's killing certain people, whatever, right? There might be some aspects, how it can affect your heart or whatever, depending on, but people look, if they're in that area, they want to look for the negative factors, because they've already got this factor before they even looked up. So they're going to research on Google what it affects, what it think about. So they're going to get all information which is distorted and incorrect, because you don't know where this information's coming from, unless it's you've got evidence and it's written in a book, and it's actual evidence of different annuals and different books. It is totally distorted, as I've already said. And also, the understanding the democratic principles of a country, And that's where freedom of speech, where luckily we are given who we vote for, whether we like either party or independent parties, but it's a choice to make a change, I guess. We hope for the best. And then the way propaganda can influence people's public opinion with emotions, with fear and anger and things. If you don't follow this is going to happen. Again, you're going to get misleading stories, whether it's on TV. There are old war films which were completely distorted information, what happened, right? And there's films, Hollywood films, which, of course get distorted all the time. They're made for mass entertainment. And then, and the emotions and the ethical sides also. And then I was looking at, critically thinking, conspiracies and propaganda, right? Well, conspiracies can also affect, when you see this now, this social media ban, not banned, but on Facebook and different avenues for 16-year-olds and under, because they're getting bullied, but they're getting this, and people are getting this so much misinformation, which is, my friend said it's dumbing people down to a point, because they believe in the first thing they read, and it's something if they want to believe in, they'll believe in it. You know what, medicine will make you live to 200, etc., etc. It happens all the time. And what's the difference between conspiracy and propaganda? Conspiracy is not as hard as propaganda, but it can lead people to that avenues, because it can make people follow things in conspiracies, and that becomes propaganda when government foreign governments or whatever put these into rules and put extreme things into place. And conspiracies might start off small, about the Twin Towers in New York, what happened, and there's different theories of that, but things get blown out of proportion. Then there's fear, the emotions, and as I said, the anger, and then the government, American government can be gung ho, and and when that happened, and we are fed information, which is really hard for the youth, and also adults and all people using technology, and abiding to think this information is correct without any other aspect. And then in the future, the things that they've learned, or about Aboriginals or about whatever, they keep that formation, and it comes into a family thing, it can come into a friend thing, and it can keep inspiring. And then if there's trouble in the world, when propaganda is even on a bigger aspect, it propels people into all those different things, distortion, and conspiracy is distortion of the truth also, and then it's also the manipulation of people, because some people might be more naive and more acceptable to this information about any particular topic, which could be dangerous, and it just could be detrimental to a person's health, or detrimental to their mental health, or also could be controlling, also told we have been microchipped in ours, government's following us, and everything's going to be it's full of negativity, and then that propels, as I've repeated myself, into how the Nazis run their world party, by rhetoric, by their propaganda speeches, and by misleading information of the media, which happens even today. And people believe it because their emotions, people are emotionally charged, or they fear, or they anger about some other country or people or society. So they're basically acceptable to all this information. So my conclusion is why propaganda is evil is what I've researched also in essay and what I've discussed about and critically thinking, that we need to research information, we need to examine things, we need to look at things before, like purchasing a TV, right? Don't purchase the first thing you see. So when you read something, don't believe it just because it has your values or your ideals, or you think, yes, this is correct. You need to research and need to examine, and you'll need to get some background information of the person, but also and read other stories on the other views, on the other particular views, on the opposite line. We need, because also this brings division, and it's brought division in many countries. With South Africa apartheid, it happened for years. In Australia, we haven't got a great background what happened, but I think we're doing a pretty good job in trying to restrain it. I think there has to be a holy approach, and we have to be very level-headed about things, right? And this is level-headed about examining information, because the more we examine and the more information, the more we learn, and the more critical thinking about things, maybe we can make this world a better place, and maybe we can have ideas to how make the world better in a place without projecting negativity and affecting people's emotions, and not examining governments' information, and examining countries as best as you can do. But as I said, the difference between the conspiracy and propaganda, there is a real interlink between the two, and some things you can laugh about, UFOs, conspiracies or whatever, but some things can be deadly and can be turned into propaganda. And then I know a friend who, and this was about COVID, and he was completely against it. Anyway, he was in hospital about 6 months with COVID on an oxygen machine. And I'm not saying the government was right to lock down everything at all. I'm just saying that you need to research instead of having this one approach that you have to be right. Now, I hope, John, you enjoyed this extra addition to what I've already written and cast, or projected or viewed on this video. And yeah, I really enjoy your class, so I hope this is an added worthy addition to what my thoughts about why propaganda can be evil. Thank you.